Good morning, everyone. So today is Saturday. It is the start of a long weekend here, and I mostly just have plans to work on projects, work on a couple other hobbies, and just do some cleaning around the house, and just some very relaxed, laid back things. I thought I would film a bit this weekend as I work on some projects. I am currently working on a sweater and a sock, so I will show you those and show you my progress on them. My arm is getting a little tired. I really need to work out. So yeah, hopefully I can just make a lot of progress on my projects this weekend. I haven't had time to just sit down and work on projects in such a long time. This is the sweater that I'm working on. It is the Daffodil by Wallin. It is an all over cable and lace sweater, so it is quite the project. I started this last summer, I think, so it's been a year now working on this. And this is the front panel. I've completed the back panel, which I'll show you in just a second. Yeah, it's a lot of very focused knitting. I can watch stuff and listen to stuff in the background, but I definitely have to have the chart up and kind of referencing that the whole time. So, but it's really fun. I'm really enjoying it. It just is slow going. And I'm going to be really happy to be done with this project because I'm already planning some things to cast on, or at least getting excited about the possibilities of what I might want to cast on when I have finished this big project. It's just been a lot of finishing sweaters lately, so I'm excited to finish this one. But so I don't get bored while I'm working and just trying to get some hours of knitting in today, I also have another project. Let me grab it. This is a pair of socks that I'm working on. It's just a pair of vanilla socks. I've started the second one, just got the cuff there done, but I do have the first sock completely finished. And this is just cuff down, gusset, and heel flap, basic vanilla sock. So nothing too exciting or intense, which is the perfect match for this sweater project. So my plan today is to work on the sweater for half an hour and then work on the socks for 10 minutes. And then I will just trade off the two projects as I am just sitting on the couch, relaxing and having a great time. The yarn I'm using for the sweater is Rowan felted tweed. There we go, now it's in focus. This is a really nice tweed wool. It is light gray with some very royal blue flecks with some black flecks as well, and maybe some little brown flecks in there. But yeah, it's such a gorgeous yarn. I'm really happy with it. This is my first time using Rowan yarn and really enjoy it. It's a little bit of an investment, but it's not quite as expensive as a lot of yarns tend to be. So it's kind of right there in the middle. It's very mid-range yarn, but it looks so beautiful in these cables and lace. I love the way it's working out. So just to show you, this is what I have of the back. This is the full back panel, and the front panel will be basically the same thing with some more neck shaping. So I do have quite a ways to go for the front panel. This is about where I'm at. So I'm a little less than halfway through. I'm going to get as much progress made as I can. I'm going to insert one of these safety pins right here so we can track my progress, and then I'll do the same for my socks and we can see exactly how much I can get done in however amount of time I have. Okay, so I've knit for 30 minutes on the sweater, and now it is time to knit for 10 minutes on the socks. I just wanted to check in. It is close to dinner time now, so I'm going to take a break to eat. But I actually haven't done much knitting since I last talked to you. I've mostly been working on videos and then just some other things that I've been working on. So not as much knitting has gotten done today, but that's okay. We still have quite a few hours left in the day. After dinner, I do plan to just sit down and try to get some knitting done. So that is the plan, and I will share my progress once I have something to update you on. So it is Sunday afternoon. You just saw that we walked over to the grocery to get some groceries for tonight's dinner. And this is how much I've gotten done on my sweater. I think this is about 2 hours of knitting. And the only thing we have to do today is just make dinner. And I do have a couple other things I would like to get done today, but I don't have to, so I may just spend the rest of the day knitting. I have gotten a couple rounds done on my sock, nothing like notable, but I am hoping to work on that as well. I've mostly been powering through this sweater though. I have not been alternating projects very much. I've been very monogamous today on this sweater because I have, I think, about half of the front panel done. So this is an overview of my progress, my total progress. So I have about half of this front panel done, which means if I put in another, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours, maybe a little longer than that, I can potentially finish the front panel. So that would be exciting, and I do have tomorrow off as well, so I plan to knit tomorrow. But yeah, like I mentioned, it's the afternoon, so I do have about half the day left to work on this. So I'm going to put a movie on, maybe make some tea later, and get a few hours done, and then I'll make dinner, and then get a few more hours done. It's been a really relaxing, ideal day. A little cooking tip that we got from Budget Bites is when you're using tomato paste in a recipe, you typically only use a small amount, and here in the US they sell cans of tomato paste, and it's like 5 or 6 servings, and so you can dollop the tomato paste into like a little container or something and just freeze it, and then you can just plop this into your recipe whenever you need just like a tablespoon of tomato paste. So I have previously not been like a huge candle person. I don't buy a lot of candles, but Bath & Body Works was having this 2 for, I don't think it was 2 for 1, but it was like if you buy 2 candles, you get a certain percentage off. And so I decided to buy this pumpkin spice latte candle. And then I also bought this vanilla bean candle. And they smell the same. I was really hoping the pumpkin spice latte would like just be a really nice fall scent. And it's not that I don't like it, but they do smell like almost exactly the same to me. So I guess I bought 2 of the same candles. I like the vanilla scent. I just was hoping for more of like a pumpkin scent. The struggles of buying online. Good morning. It is Monday. This is the progress that I made yesterday. Here's my my little marker. So I've gotten that much done. I feel like I've been knitting like it's my job because I've just made so much progress. Today I won't be knitting quite as much as I did yesterday, but I hope to get an hour or 2 of knitting in. I do have, if I compare this to my back panel, I am over halfway done with the front panel, so I need, a good few inches, okay, a little more than a few inches for the front panel, but I'm getting there, and I feel like I'm making faster progress than I anticipated because I've been able to knit a little bit more than I thought I would. I really have not knit much on these socks. I've gotten a couple of inches this weekend done, but mostly been focusing on the sweater, so I'm not sure if that'll change. I think because I'm pretty close to finishing the front panel, I want to continue to focus on the sweater and just get a lot of progress made on that. But if I have some downtime, or if I need some knitting that I don't want to focus on, I'll definitely pick up this sock. But for the moment, I'm really enjoying this sweater and I'm getting really excited to finish it. I'm in that stage where I'm not almost done. I still have a lot of knitting to do, but I've gotten close enough that it feels like I can actually complete this, which is good because sometimes with a project this big, you wonder, like, are you actually going to finish it? And is it going to take another year? Are you going to finish it sometime soon? So yeah. I'm going to enjoy my coffee and do some knitting, and then I need to clean the kitchen. So that's the plan for this morning. Okay, I just saw a mistake in my cable, and I'm debating whether I should go back and fix it because it's not that noticeable, but it's definitely there, and it's unfortunately not my most recent cable. It's the one right below it, right here. It's just turned the wrong way. I think when you're looking at it as a whole, it's actually more noticeable than if you're just focused on that one part. So I am going to go back and fix that. If you look at this cable, this one is correct. And I think the more I knit, the more noticeable that mistake is going to be. So it shouldn't be too hard to go back and fix. I've already had to do that a couple times. I don't know what it is about cables, but for whatever reason, even if I feel like I'm paying attention, I can just turn it the wrong way. Yeah, that's pretty common with me. So I've gotten pretty used to going back and fixing cables. And of course, I'm not going to rip out the whole thing. I'm just going to rip back these 4 stitches, go down to where I made the mistake, re-knit the cable, knit up to the next cable, knit that cable, and then I'll just continue on with where I'm at. All right, so I figured I would attempt to film this. I don't have the best setup, so I'm just going to do what I can. But if you look at the cable, you can see what I'm talking about. So these 2 cables here are totally fine. They are correct. This one leans to the right, and this one leans to the left. If you look down at this cable directly beneath it, this cable is correct. This cable leans to the left. But this cable right here also leans to the left, and this should be leaning to the right, so it should come out this way, and instead it goes that way. So I've knit up to the cable, and since this cable right here is the one that's incorrect, I'm just going to pull these 4 stitches out. So I've isolated those 4 stitches, and these are the only stitches that we're going to be working on. So what I'm actually going to do is just go ahead and rip back. So I just ripped back a purl row, and then now I'm ripping back that last cable that I did. You can see how my stitches untwist. So I'm going to continue to rip back 1, 2, 3, and then here is the cable row that is incorrect. So I'm just going to rip back that. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and pick up these stitches. All right, so now I'm at the point where I'm ready to reknit this cable the correct way. And for my pattern, this is supposed to be a right-leaning cable, so I will hold the stitches to the back. So I'm just working with double-pointed needles here, and all I'm going to do is just grab those stitches and reknit this cable as if I was knitting it for the first time. So if you are familiar with ripping back your work like this and fixing mistakes in this way, you will know that all of this extra yarn here is essentially your working yarn. So we're just going to pretend that each row is the working yarn. And you really want to make sure that you get this lined up correctly. So sometimes these can twist a little bit, and then you think you're working with the most bottom one, but you're actually twisted. So just make sure that they are straight and that this very bottom strand here is the one that you want to be working with. So what I've done is I've already gone ahead and twisted my stitches and then put them back on the needle so that there are 4 stitches. They are twisted in the correct orientation. You can see that the cable leans to the right this time. And now what I'm going to do is just knit the stitches off of my left needle using the bottom strand. So that would be this one. And this can look a little bit complicated, but if you just keep in mind that this is just knitting, you're just using this strand instead of your working yarn, it does make it a little bit simpler to understand. And I have one more stitch. And this last stitch can be a little bit confusing because you don't have that much of this strand left, but if you just grab it like that and then knit it and pull it through, and now I have a fixed cable. So now I'm going to knit 3 rows to get back up to my next cable. So I'm just working with my double pointed needles here, and I'm just going to continue doing what I just did, which is knitting them using the next strand up. And that is really all you're doing. You are just making sure that you're using the correct strand, which is essentially your working yarn. Okay, so I've worked 3 rows, which that is what my pattern tells me to do. And keep in mind, since I'm knitting back and forth, normally those rows would get purled, but since I'm just working on the front of the work and I'm isolating these stitches, I can just knit them, and that is the same thing. This is another right-leaning cable, so I'm going to take the first 2 stitches, hold them to the back, and this is how I twisted the stitches last time. You can just move your needles down, and then go ahead and put those stitches back onto your left needle. And now you have a cable twist without having to hold your needle in the back. Sometimes that can get a little bit confusing, especially as you're working with quite a few needles. So now I'm just going to find the next strand up. You see I have 2 here. I'm going to use the one that is the bottom. You can check your work and make sure, especially if you're fixing cables, just make sure that your cables are oriented the correct way, since that is the issue that we're fixing. And then I'm just going to use the last strand to knit the last row to catch me up with the rest of my knitting. All right, so if you look at my cables now, they're all in the right direction. I'm just going to slide these stitches back onto my left working needle, Now I have fixed this cable. It is in the right direction. I've caught myself back up to where I am. So this is the actual working yarn now. And I can just continue knitting. So it's really not that difficult to go back and fix your mistakes. It's as if you're just knitting it again, but you don't have to rip out the entirety of what you've already done. You can just isolate those stitches and just rip those out and reknit them. Alright, it is the next day and I am drinking a cup of coffee, but this is not my morning coffee because it is 7 p.m. Today is Tuesday and I just worked all day, and then we went to pick up dinner, brought it back home, and now I'm debating what I want to do for the rest of the night. I have a number of hobbies that I would like to do. Knitting is one of them, and then I also should edit a video soon. I'm a little bit late in getting that one up, so I should probably do that, but I don't get paid to do any of this. I just do it for fun, so if I'm really not feeling it, it's hard to like push myself to do it. So I think I'm gonna end the vlog here, but before I go, I wanted to update you on how much progress I've made, because this truly was a knitting weekend for me. I don't get these types of weekends that often, so it's just really nice to have some time to relax on the couch and try not to worry about things and just enjoy myself. So that's what I did, and I honestly got through so much more of this than I was anticipating. Like, I'm almost done with the front panel, and I already have the back panel done. So I just have the sleeves and then like the finishing details. So here's what I got done of the front panel this weekend. And I don't know if you remember, but when I started this weekend, I was like here-ish maybe. So I more than doubled the length of this. I'm really happy with the progress that I made. And of course I was marking my progress every day. So yesterday, here's my marker. So from here to the top, this is what I got done yesterday. I think I was averaging about a repeat per day, which, I mean, the repeats are, I think the repeats are like from here to here. So they're not short. I think I've completed about 3 repeats this weekend, and I've almost made it through another skein. I'm really kind of nearing the end of this skein. So I'm really making great progress. I think I have a few more inches to go before I can start the shaping, but then the shaping is really, there's not a lot of shaping. So I'm really close to being done with this. Honestly, I'm just really enjoying it. I will be very happy that it's done. I feel like this motif, this pattern is just like burned into my brain because I've knit it so many times. But at the same time, it's nice to get to that point with a complex pattern like this where you don't have to think too hard. I think in the very beginning when I first cast this on, it was like I was making mistakes and I was really having to pay super close attention to the chart, and like I was just being so careful with it because I didn't really know the pattern. And I've gotten to the point now, since I've knit it so many times in the back panel and now almost the entire front panel, that I can just kind of anticipate what's coming next. I look at the first few stitches of the row and I'm like, oh yeah, I know what row this is. And I'm still referencing the chart like the entire, across the whole row, but I am so much more familiar with the chart now that I do feel like I have parts of it memorized and I'm not having to like keep my eyes on the chart the whole time. Another thing I was reflecting on as I was knitting this was that I cast this on last summer, and it's always crazy to me when I think back to where I was in my development of a hobby or a skill, even just a year ago. It's honestly baffling to me how much you can learn and how more confident you can get in things. And just how much you can grow in the things that you really, you know, put your mind to and you really try to get good at. I'm so much more confident as a knitter now, and I am confident in myself that I can go back and fix mistakes. And if I do make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I remember when making a knitting mistake was like the whole thing is ruined because I don't know how to fix it, or I might ruin it in trying to fix it or whatever, so I'm just gonna leave the mistake. I mean, there was so much that could go wrong in knitting to me, that to think of it now, I'm so much more confident as a knitter. I think I can have a lot more fun with knitting now because I'm not so apprehensive about things. And yeah, I'm just so much more confident. I think that's what it boils down to, which is a really great argument for developing your skills, because the better you get at it, the more you're going to enjoy. I think that's true in everything that I attempt to do. The better I am at it, the more enjoyment and the more I get out of that thing. So I'm always trying to improve, at least in some ways. And so that's kind of what I was reflecting on, is that when I first cast this sweater on a year ago, you know, I set the sweater down for so long and worked on other things. And so when I came back to it and picked it back up, it just felt completely different to me. It didn't feel like the super complex, intense sweater that I had originally cast on. It felt like, you know, something you need to pay attention to and something that is definitely involved, but it was not nearly as intimidating as it was when I first cast it on. So that is my progress with Daffodil. I am really happy with the amount of knitting I was able to get done this weekend. I'm really motivated to finish this sweater. I know I still have quite a ways to go, but I am so much closer to finishing this. I hope that you can't hear my neighbor's bass, but I can hear it all the time. So for the socks that I was working on, I did not make, I actually didn't work on them at all yesterday. I think I just worked on the sweater because I was really feeling motivated with that project. But I did knit, that's not true, I knit last night. We watched a movie last night and I was just a little bit too involved in the movie to knit on the sweater, so I picked up the sock and I made it to the heel flap. So I've knit the entire leg. And then today, while I was in a Zoom meeting, I knit the heel flap, and then tonight I turned the heel and picked up the stitches for the gusset. So I am about to knit the gusset. I'm not sure that I'll work on this today. I don't know what it is, but I am like just not interested in knitting a gusset right now. Like that just does not sound good to me right now. Don't know why. And it's not even like socks. Like I'll probably cast on another sock when I finish this, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm just really focused on my sweater right now. But you know, once I finish this gusset and I just knit the foot, like it'll fly by super quickly and I can probably get it done in like 1 or 2 evenings. So I'm not worried about finishing this. It's just a great like small project to have, very mindless project, you know, when I'm engaged in something else, but I want to keep my hands occupied. This is like the perfect project. Of course, we all know socks are great for that. That's always why I knit socks. I don't even wear my socks that often, but like I just really, really like knitting them. Also, whenever I knit socks magic loop, I am reminded how much this looks like fallopian tubes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm not really sure how it turned out. I feel like I was just filming random snippets of progress throughout my weekend, but that was kind of the point. So hopefully it was interesting. If you like the format of this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know, or tell me in a comment, because I'm just kind of experimenting with different things and trying to figure out what is entertaining to watch, what is entertaining for myself to film, that sort of thing. This was definitely motivating for me because I love tracking my progress. I love documenting my progress. So if that is something that would be motivating for you, you should definitely try a little, I don't know, what could we call this? Like a project vlog? I don't know. But if you do try it, definitely let me know. Send me the link. All right, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.